Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing a zombie Korean film, a TV series called We Are All Dead.
No, not We Are All Dead. It's called All of Us Are Dead. It's South Korean coming-of-age zombie apocalypse horror streaming TV series. There you go. It was released last January, about 12 months ago. Just
last year. And, of course, I won't go into details. It is an interesting series, but it's rather slow on halfway through.
Well, I suppose I said the same thing. I thought it was a little bit slow. They spent a bit too much time developing backstories and different things and side stories and whatever. However, as a package, I don't think it's that bad.
It has its merits.
They wanted to get their 12 episodes, was it? 12?
They want to get 12 episodes. 12 is the standard number of
and a lot of things
episodes.
Like that. So they did have to pad a little bit of side stories and different things.
But there's padding and there's padding, as I've always said.
However, it's acceptable padding.
Yes,
but it's sort of like you look at an American action movie. There's more action in an American action movie than there would be in an English action movie because they handle things differently. So Koreans obviously, or South Koreans, do things their way. So
So anyway, who created this thing? And
I thought you'd ask. Now I've got to put my Korean tongue in. Okay, how am I going to do this?
Usually from the top.
No, but some of it's actually in Korean.
And just almost a lot of these people got Lee in their name.
Yeah, and other things.
Like that.
Okay, look, I'll do this a little bit differently. This was originally, I think, a comic book or something rather, a book series.
Cool.
About 10 years ago. I've had some notes here somewhere. I might find it later. It was based on the Naver webtoon of the same name. And was published between 2009 and 2011. This was actually filmed at a place called Sunghi Girls High School in Andong, South Korea. Now, created by Chung Sung Il, Lee Jae Kyu, Kim Nam Soo. Okay, that's not too bad. Got through that. Based on Now at Our School by Jun Dong Jun. Written by Chung Sung Il. My tongue hasn't turned into a knot yet. Okay, directed by Lee Jae Kyu and Kim Nam Soo. Now, we will go through the stars in a minute. I do not know how much it costs to make, and being a stream, you wouldn't do a box office figure, so we'll leave that one a bit. Now, okay, like I said, coming of age, South Korean, obviously. It's, I think there might be two versions. There might be one dubbed into English.
Yeah, there's a dub
but
one.
But we watched the one in Korean with the subtitles.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to bring up to the people out there. If you get the dub one, you can tell right away that the voices don't really work really well.
Well, sometimes what they're saying in English, the overdubs, don't really match the scenes all that well.
Yeah.
Like their translations aren't as good as they could be sometimes.
Yeah.
So, it's better off, to me, it's better off going with the native language and subtitles.
And when I closed my eyes, I could tell right away it doesn't seem to match up with the individual, per se.
Didn't you say that in the dub one of the guys was whistling a tune, and it was something like the
American
national anthem or something
national anthem.
Considering this is in Korea. So they do cock up a little bit when they do
up.
Anyway, I won't go too much there. I'll try to get through the main cast at least. Okay, right. Oh God, here we go. Yoon Chang Young as Lee Chung San, is a student, a boy, male. Right. He's Onyo's neighbour and her childhood friend. Now Park Ji Hoo plays Nam Onju, sees the girl that I just mentioned, and sees Chung San's neighbour and childhood friend. Okay, they sort of semi-main roles, but I think a lot of them had sort of worked in together. So I can't really define a main role. But some of it was focused around them anyway. Okay, Cho Yai Hyun as Choi Nam Ra. Now, she was a class president, often referred to as Prez. And look, she wasn't too bad. She had an interesting role. I won't go into it too much because Sarah will talk about that later. But she's, interesting. Okay, a one-person name here, Lomon, as Lee Soo Hyuk, nickname Besu. A student of class, whatever the class, a reformed ex-delinquent.
Yeah, he's actually rather good looking.
Yeah. That may be that's coming of age and people changing and maturing and stuff. So it's all thrown into it,
Yeah.
Now, okay, Yoon In Soo as Yoon Gwai Nam, school delinquent.
Yeah, he's the bully in the school.
And the main antagonist. We won't talk about him too much, but he's a really nasty dude. But he's got a very interesting role.
Yes.
Lee Yu Mi as Lee Na Yun, a wealthy but arrogant student. She
gets her own back. I mean, gets her own back, right?
Well, let's just say she doesn't make it to the end of the series. Okay. Kim Byung Chul as Lee Byung Chan, a life science teacher. So she must be that teacher lady we like.
No, it was the male teacher that was the guy who created the virus.
Oh, sorry,
he was a science teacher for some reason, and he was making this virus.
That's right, sorry,
it wasn't a virus. It started off as a chemical to make his son stronger, but somehow
it became a virus.
It turns into a horrible virus, and it starts taking over all of Korea.
The virus the medicine actually killed him, and the virus took over. Okay, sorry, I'll just read there's a guy there, Lee Kyu Hyung as Song Jae Ik, a detective. He's going in there trying to get his daughter out.
And he wasn't a detective. He was a fireman.
Okay.
There was a detective, but he was not.
Oh, wrong guy.
Yeah.
Whatever. See, I don't know how his names, you see.
See, he was sort of...
he's the next one down. Okay.
Sorry.
Jae Bae Soo as Nam Soo-ju, captain of Hyson Fire Station, Rescue Team 1, and Onjo's father. Okay,
sorry.
There you go.
So the
other guy was the little girl.
Yeah, the other guy was a detective who was interrogating the scientist guy, and he finds out that we're all screwed.
Yeah. Anyway, that's okay. I won't go through anyone. My tongue's getting a knot in it.
I will mention, guys, that this movie, it does mention all sorts of... And this TV series mentions all sorts of viruses, including our current COVID one.
No, they didn't mention it. They said... We didn't know what the incubation period was. We knew with so-and-so the virus incubation period was so-and-so. We knew COVID incubation period was so much. They just referenced it to make it more real. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went through an incubation period over here, and most of the time it was people who came overseas from America or Asia, anywhere, and they were put into hotels or accommodations
for several weeks. 2 weeks,
and once the incubation period was over, they went home.
They went home because obviously there's no signs of any virus. Yeah, and people complain and stuff. Yeah, whatever. Let's get away from this. We're actually talking about.
I know,
TV,
but this sort of thing kind of came into it, and it kind of, inspired the creators.
And like I said...
Inspired the what it would have been like for those who were stuck inside.
I said before, not just in front of you guys, but if you had a bit of reality in a fantasy or a fiction, it gives a bit more substance.
Exactly,
so they brought things in topical stuff which people knew about already, and it makes it more real. Anyway, let's move on with the story.
Yeah, anyway, I wasn't too impressed with their English version because every time I closed my eyes, I could hear that it didn't match up with the actor's voice.
They didn't match the voices to the actors. That is what I'm trying to say.
Even though they don't matched up. I mean, it's not anything to do with the fact their voices don't really sink in. It's nothing to do with that. It's more to the fact that the actual accent does not suit the character, is what I'm saying.
Well, the phrasing.
The phrasing and the wording, and
Yeah.
you can tell right away it doesn't belong to that person.
Yeah, probably.
If it was an ordinary Asian actor doing the job, I can understand, and it could be much more easier that way.
Are you going to tell them a story, or are they going to go to sleep now?
Okay.
Right.
The story begins. A scientist has developed this new special chemical to make his son stronger in order to fight against the school bullies at his school, who are bullying them, and not the school is doing anything about it, as per usual.
Yeah.
What a drag.
Suck it up. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, their interpretation is just suck it up and
deal with it.
deal with it, and stuff like that.
Not very nice.
And all that stuff. And anyway, one day the kid was being bullied by these guys, and somehow his bones begin to snap and crackle and pop, and soon enough he tries to fight back, but unfortunately during the fight he ends up falling from a building. They were fighting on an abandoned building. Abandoned building. And he fell a few stories and onto the pavement. And
that hurt.
And he's at the hospital, and his dad is there, and
his dad was very disappointed with him.
His dad noticed the change, and he decides to pick up a Bible and whack him, in order to...
I'll beat religion into you.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bible compels you, all that stuff.
Yeah, the Word of God. Smack, 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 smack.
Anyway, so later on, we go to the school. The school is not really a nice place. There's a mixture of students there. There's like the wealthy class and a little bit of the not so happy class.
Yeah, the working class. There's a mixture. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's welfare kids. There's that wealthy girl I told you guys about who's not really nice.
Yeah, it's really upper Celsius. Yeah, really nasty piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Then one day, during their classroom exercises, one of the girls gets infected, and she gets imprisoned by the science teacher, and luckily enough she escapes, but she eventually goes to a class and tells them about how she was being held prisoner, and this is where the police come in and arrest him, and the teacher who reported him, or the students who reported him, they got in big trouble by the principal, because the principal wanted to keep it hush-hush.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, as one would, yeah.
So
homicidal maniacs, pedophiles, inappropriate sexual behaviour, all of the above.
Detectives take him away, and the girl was transferred to a hospital, and there she starts biting and...
Yeah, she turned into a zombie.
Yes. Yeah, and then, meanwhile, back at the school, so she bitten some other student, and that person went on to getting... turned into a zombie.
And it spreads pretty quick.
And it spreads really quickly. So, in seconds, I guess.
Actually, in this one, if you get bitten by somebody, the virus actually kill you and then take out your body. Instead of waiting for you to die, it actually promotes your death. And that's not too bad, isn't it?
Well, it always happens in these zombies movies, Mike.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the virus spreads really quickly, and soon enough, only a handful of students are... still alive.
Well, if that's such a thing as a normal student.
Yeah, most of them are different. As I said before, they're a mixture of different kids. Some, like one boy, is a reformed bully who's decided to become trying to be good. A bully is hiding in the cafeteria who's a gopher to another school bully, and he actually eventually does escape, and he does get bitten eventually, but he doesn't turn into a zombie or die.
He mutates into a half-breed, which is he's still almost human, but not quite. But he's not quite taken over by the virus.
He still has the intelligence or the human side to his mind still active.
Yeah,
but the rest of it is all...
the virus is making him a nasty person. How's that?
Yeah. The rest of him is superhuman. Sort of
he's a lot stronger,
In one of the the scientists left a bit of a VU diary, and in each episode we hear a bit about how he discovered during his studies that the zombie sort of thing would suddenly evolutionize and change the person in question. And we learn more about this later on. So anyway, the kids, they gather together and they jump from room to avoid the zombies.
Trying to secure
learning
themselves
as much as they can from experience how to outwit them. They learn that these creatures, they kind of are ear sensitive.
Yeah, they get attracted. I get the impression once the virus takes over, that their sight isn't great, but the sense of smell and the hearing increases. Is that right?
Exactly. Which kind of explains a lot. I mean, I think their eyesight still works. They're not
but
blind,
not very good though.
But not really good. They're not like dogs who could sense heat, or like some animals can sense.
But they can hear stuff.
Yeah, they just
hear
hear
in the next room or down the street or something or other, and their sense of smell. They can smell the living.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, one of the students, his father, he's a fireman. He's actually trying to save a few politicians from the zombie outbreak.
Yeah, why would you? Honestly, why would you save a politician?
Don't know, don't care.
That was a big mistake.
Anyway, they eventually get to the roof and were able to escape on a helicopter. And anyway, so they arrive at the special quarantine area. I guess.
Quarantine station down near the border of the township or the city or something.
Yeah, where the politician, the senator or whatever her name is, she's placed into quarantine. Of course, most of the people say this is barbaric. You should just protect. She shouldn't be in quarantine. Yeah. But they have their rules.
Yeah, actually, the soldiers put in charge that everyone is treated the same because everyone could be infected. So the politicians had to deal with it. Yeah.
So,
but
of course, the fireman tries to beg them, let him to go to the school, but they don't think that any students may have survived that particular zero zone area.
The ground zero area,
because it has been slowly.
That's where it started from, and it's out of control. So that it's highly unlikely that anyone's alive there.
The detective eventually does interrogate the scientist, and of course he starts to believe him, and then soon enough the scientist has himself killed because he feels like, while saving the detective, I guess. And the detective, along with a sergeant or a deputy, I'm not sure which, considering this is Korea, and they save a little baby from a student. Yeah, see, the baby was from a student who's was, I guess, either raped or I don't know the story behind that.
She might have had sex or got raped or whatever, and she had a baby right at the beginning at school when the apocalypse started.
Yeah, and she was planned to abandon her baby in a dustbin, but when the zombie outbreak, she then trickily takes her baby and tries to hide. And of course, she gets bitten on the way, and she hides in a restaurant and keeps the baby at distance while tying herself to the door.
She ties herself up so she can't get to a baby.
Yeah. But eventually, the detective and his deputy were able to find the baby, and they found a little child whose mother is also turned.
Yeah.
Anyway, they then also save a vlogger, who went to check out.
And who do you want to save a blogger? Sorry. We're a bit
information. And this is the interesting part about this. The guys in the government guys, the army guys, they suggest that thanks to a lot of social media influencer stuff, some people are spreading the word that what's the name of the area? That other parts of Asia are getting affected.
No, they're in South Korea, and they're trying to make out that's got out towards their capital city, which I think is Seoul.
Yeah, Seoul. Yeah. And so they decide to cut off media and cut off communications down.
So people can't do false information and stuff.
Yeah, which kind of eliminates the possibility that there might be a few survivors inside the war zone of zombies.
In the infected area, they can't contact them because the mobile phone repeaters, or whatever you call them, repeater stations have been turned off, and they're not getting any Wi-Fi, not getting any of this. They get nothing.
Zippo.
No internet. Yeah, it's all gone.
Anyway, soon enough, aside from the bully who got turned to a muted, evolutionized zombie creature, two other girls get turned into sort of that sort of thing too. One eventually gets picked up by the said detective and is placed in the quarantine zone.
Because they think she's normal?
But when they find, she then attacks a student that she knows and tries to eat him.
And that's another problem.
And she was then placed into
a scientific laboratory.
Yeah.
They're studying her, you see.
They study her, and along with another zombie to figure out what makes them different and same.
So they're trying to find a cure for this virus. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the special laptop while they were just exploring it, the school, and they were about to also transfer the living students to the site, but they found out that about the girl I told you about being in the quarantine zone who bitten a student, and therefore they think anyone who's below a certain
No, look.
they think this girl was pretty much they think that anyone who doesn't have any symptoms might still be a carrier of zombie stuff.
There's a word for it, asymptomatic. Okay, I believe that's the right word for it, which means you're a carrier, you could be, but you don't have any signs.
Symptoms.
It's supposed to have a low body temperature like a dead body, but still had a warm body, and it was still coherent, could still talk and behave rationally.
Yeah.
But all this turmoil was going inside the head, so
yeah, which makes this is another this is another example of how sometimes in COVID they kept some people caught it even though they didn't have symptoms. According to some people, I don't believe it.
No, they did. Some people were asymptomatic. I mean, they had it, but they were carriers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, they leave the students, and the students are horrified because they were hoping that once they get to the rooftops, they were able to get out of there. They even wrote an SOS on top of the building. One of the students was asking, "What's SOS mean?" It means save our souls.
They didn't mention. They had no idea because
they're students. What do they know?
No, but you got SOS isn't in their language.
No, that's true.
Save our souls, abbreviation for anglicised words.
Yeah, it's an American or a Western. Wording.
Yeah. It's worse.
It is.
They wouldn't know what it is necessarily because they'd have another thing for it in their language.
Yeah. The bully zombie continues to chase them. Gosh knows why. I think he just wants to get back at the person who kind of squeezed his eye out. I don't know.
Yeah, someone poked his eye out or something in a fight or something. Or something.
Yeah, so then a thunderstorm hits, and they realize that the thunderstorm kind of affects the zombies' hearing.
They get very annoyed.
So they quickly use it as a cover in order to get out of there. They eventually meet up with some other students who are part of the archery club, I think it was, right?
The archery club, yeah. The girl and the boy, yeah.
Yeah, and
she was really good.
Yeah.
She was killing zombies all over the place. She should have been in the state finals, man.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, they eventually get off there and get quickly out of there. Eventually, they meet up with the girl's father along the way, who escaped the quarantine pen using an army soldier's outfit and was able to get out and be able to rescue her. Of course, along the way, he got bitten. So
bugger.
So he was forced into the...
He saved them, but he had to sacrifice himself to become one of the zombies.
Yeah, so that was sad. And while this is happening, the army guys suggest that they'll bomb the areas of where the biggest massive zombies by using the drones, using a bit of a siren or a bell to draw them all to the
Yeah, they made
spots.
a noise. They can follow the noise. They figured out the best frequency to attract their attention. So they got them into a sporting arena somewhere else,
school.
and they just bombed those main areas.
Yeah.
And then they send a clean-up team in there to pick off the odd ones that were left over.
Yeah, of course. There were a few more left over. Anyway, along the way, the kids are going through this small town, and they had to pick off a few more zombies on their own. And eventually, the girl who's a half-breed was able to fight back as much as she could. But unfortunately, she couldn't fight back her own cravings for human. She kept on getting these messages in her head saying, eat them, eat them, eat them, in a creepy voice. And she eventually fights this by eating a already dead zombie cadaver or body.
Yum, 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 yum.
And she tells them to go away because she's a danger to them. Eventually, she heads her own way, and the remaining students, they head to the first batch of soldiers who check them over and send them to the quarantine zone. There, the kids are forced to wait until things have settled down. But unfortunately, they're still in quarantine after a couple of months. Oh, I don't know how long it has been. It could have been a couple of months for all I know. But they'll give...
Well, I don't know. It could be a week or two. I don't know. It wasn't a couple of months. The kids had no food.
Yeah, well, anyway, they're offered small portions of food.
Oh, no, wait a minute. When they're at the quarantine station...
Yeah, they were given food and clothing and blankets to keep warm. And anyway, eventually the news gets out that they've obtained the virus, and that the people inside the quarantine area are still quarantined. But luckily enough, sponsors and supporters have sent stuff over there to
help support them.
Yeah. So they're sending food, clothes, and whatnot.
So they didn't know how long the incubation period was going to be, and they didn't know which ones were asymptomatic.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what to do with them.
One of the generals or admirals, he actually shot himself because of his stupid mistakes.
No, he didn't make stupid mistakes. He had to send the people out there to bomb the high school area and the town and whatever. And he was responsible for all those steps. He took it on his own shoulders, so he couldn't handle it, so he shot himself.
Yeah.
No, he didn't make mistakes. He did what he was supposed to do.
True.
He didn't handle it. He didn't like it.
Anyway, so meanwhile, one of the girls, she actually leaves the quarantine area in order to kind of pay her respects back at the school. She leaves a few bits of food. I think it's mostly as a bit of a dedication to the students who were stuck at the school. They didn't even actually have any food there. They didn't eat for, say, either 3 or 4 days. I'm amazed that they still had energy to run from those zombies.
Well...
I mean, they did find a chocolate bar.
They found a chocolate bar, and they shared it. We'll pay you a little mouthful each. So that would have gone a long way. But look, I think it's only a few days to a week, because they were still running around okay. Because they didn't have water to drink either. Enough.
That's true.
You need water.
Otherwise
you dehydrate.
Yeah, during the rainstorm, they kind of did drink a bit of it in the system. So that was something to be looking forward to. So anyway, so she then finds on the rooftop of the school someone burning a fire up there. Not a serious fire, just a bushfire.
A campfire. Yeah.
And she tells her friends this, and they all decide to head back that way to find out what became of the girl that left them and became a hybrid zombie. So they head down that way, and they remember from when they were making that fire years ago. They made a fire years ago, and the girl remarked that she felt happy the most when they were, with each other. When
it wasn't years ago. It was
not years ago, a couple of months ago.
Yeah, they'd been quarantined for a month or 2 or 3. Yeah.
Well, who knows? Anyway, the kids remember that she enjoyed their time, at a nice little campfire. Of course,
the school was.
She was she's the class president.
Class president, but she didn't have any friends because. I know it's a bit shy.
Maybe a bit of a wealthy mother.
Wealthy mother kept a bit of a social distance between her and the other kids. But she never had any real friends before. And she made friends during this Holocaust. Yeah. Lovely.
The kids, they head inside, and the place is like looking at a bomb site.
It was.
And they eventually get to the top, and there's still fragments of what was left.
The old dead body, a bit charcoal. Actually, they had some sort of bomb which, I think actually like an incendiary type bomb with a lot of heat and stuff to help destroy them without destroying the buildings too much. Yeah. So it actually burnt the bodies. Yeah.
Anyway, the kids head up to the roof and they see the fire burning bright. Some of them said that maybe some young people just lit it up because, well, that's what kids do.
Well, yeah. And sit around a campfire.
And another one says it was a YouTuber who just wants to go to creepy places. Well, who knows? But one, of course, the girl thinks definitely it is her. And she appears before them and says that she's found a group of others half-bred zombies like herself, and I guess she's learned a few things from them. And the kids ask her, come with us, come back with us, all that stuff. But I think she knows that she
doesn't belong there.
She doesn't belong there, and she feels like that while she may not be not completely human, but she's not completely a monster.
Yeah, but she also says she's got work to do.
Yes. And she then says something about here's someone coming, or here's something coming. And then she ducks off the roof, and that's the last time we see of her.
Yeah, now that would leave it open for a sequel. Now, having said that there's talk about a sequel.
Yeah.
But we don't know at this point on whether a sequel's actually going to happen. I get the impression from what I've read, they're not quite sure where to go with the story after this.
Yeah.
So they may be having trouble getting a synopsis and storyline worked out before they go into pre-production.
I am a little curious. Like, considering there's half-breed zombies out there, what if the army starts making plans of killing them? And that's an interesting thought, because
we don't know.
I mean, after all, we did see in this series, where a half-bred kind of tried to kill a classmate in one of the episodes. And this may cause more fear among the community of a half-breed zombie may go ahead and kill you and still be rational thinkers.
But wait, you remember in Warm Bodies?
Yes, I do.
What happened there? All the zombies started getting humanity back into them, and whatever made them into zombies was overridden by their the zombies' want of the humanity back again, and they started to become human again. Great. So the sequel could actually go in that general direction. They find a cure or a semi-cure, or it starts to run its full circle, and the virus slowly dies out, or something or other, or it's hot, cold, medically something or other.
Yeah.
But they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, so there is cause for fear and wonder, and whether or not this new evolution zombie thing will be a threat to humanity or, the opposite.
Look at The Last Man on Earth. The Vincent Price one. The Charlton Heston one.
Well,
I'm not worried about the Will Smith one.
Although a lot of people don't think at the time that Last Man on Earth was a zombie movie.
What do you think the dead people? They had some sort of virus there, and
they're vampires.
Yeah, well, okay, zombies. Vampires.
Even the books say that they're vampires. Yeah, don't ask me why.
And they were killing off humanity, the normal humanity. So that's what the zombies guys would do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Same sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, it's an awesome movie. Well, I wouldn't say it's awesome series because I didn't like the fact the first half was all, let's run from these zombies, let's sit in this room till we bore ourselves to death over when is the next zombie going to be knocking on our doors, sort of thing.
Went recess.
It's really long, and I didn't like the fact when they decided that they should make a homemade toilet. It's not really fun.
Yeah,
not interesting to talk about.
Really good.
I mean, I would love it if they were scavenging for food. That would be something
that other
fun.
Was that the Korean other one where the guy was stuck in his apartment? He had to scavenge for food and as well.
Yeah, that was called Alive, and that was a Korean-related movie.
That wasn't bad.
too. And along with the, they mentioned in this one the train
to Busan.
Yeah, to Busan, and that was another Korean-related movie too.
The movies aren't that bad.
I mean, those two, I do have high opinions about, but when it comes to this series, I'm not sure about the long stretchiness
a little bit too much
it was
cutting to make the full.
Each episode is like 1 hour long, as long as almost a half a movie when you think about it.
Well, hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, they cut down the dead bits. Maybe they would have cut it down to 6 episodes.
Well, or they could have scaled down to half-hour episodes and cut out half the boring stuff and just kept all the good stuff in. Yeah. But it's
just too
it is
long.
what it is. Yeah.
It was just too long, the dead bits. I mean, I don't care about staying in a room and wondering what to do next. I mean, I like to jump to the nitty gritty and hopefully try to get to the next level of the story. It just seemed like they were just trying to stick to the episode and try to get it to as long as the episode's number should be at. Instead they just focused on the number of episodes instead of the minutes or seconds they put into each scene, even though each scene was kind of running too long in such
Yeah, well,
cases.
that's the whole problem. I think that working on backstories and other things, a bit of padding and side stories and different things. But that's the style they do, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, but the point is, it was watchable, it was enjoyable, and if you don't mind reading subtitles, we think subtitles are better because you get a better feel for it.
Agreed.
And getting on to next stage, so otherwise you just keep talking about the same things. A reception, everyone liked it. Even Rotten Tomatoes gave it 87%. I won't go into what they actually said. Metacritic had about 67%. Yeah, everything's general or favourable reviews on it, but there's not a lot of critiques on it because a lot of people haven't voted on it, obviously. But having said all that, production value's good.
That's good to know.
Good filming, good acting.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of the actors were nominated, and some received awards for Best
nice.
New Actor and different things.
That's nice.
Through what kind of things were there? 8th Appan Star Awards, Bay Staking Arts Awards. They sound like the local ones. Blue Dragon series. Yeah, it's probably local ones.
Pretty much local Asian or Korea
Korean.
type film festivals.
But still, I did like some of the guys were good, some of the girls were good, so they weren't bad. They looked good. They acted well, so they were believable. They didn't come over all pretentious and full of rubbish and stuff like that. And that was done in a real school. I hope they cleaned up the mess.
Well, just a minute there.
What?
Let me see. I was just going to read something here I found out about. What's it say here?
What's that?
The school featured in all of Us Are Dead is called... What's it called?
The Sunghi Girls High School.
And wasn't filmed at an actual school. The buildings were constructed just for the series or season, meaning they just made it up right from the ground up or whatever they call it.
Well, this says it actually had done the real high school. I can't see him building a high school building there. Some of the sets inside
maybe
would have
some
been built.
sets were not completely the high school. Maybe
I think that could have been soundstage. Yeah. But anyway,
like the stuff with the there was a construction site in one scene which could have been like that particular one that I'm referring to.
Yeah, they could have been that they could have been a level of that built on a soundstage or somewhere or out in the open there, so they can actually do that stuff. Yeah. Can't think of anything else to say about this one.
Yeah, I was a little. I thought the first half was boring a bit.
Yeah, it was slow,
but I did like the bits where that took my interest. Like I did like how one of the girls was an archer who just who in school, and I thought that was kind of fun when she would just use her archery to attack the zombies.
And these zombies died just like all the other ones. If you break their neck or sever it or whatever, or cut their head off, that works really good.
Or
that's
just stab them in the head.
Yeah, slap them in the head a lot, but that's breaking their neck. If I slapped you in the head and didn't break your neck, you'll still be okay. Yeah, same as them.
Yeah.
Anyway, same sort of stuff. Anyway, here we go. eBay, plenty for sale. Amazon, not a lot for sale, and it's not rentable. Well, I did notice something. It's cheaper on eBay as well. So if you look at other places where you can actually buy the stuff, you might find a good deal. We would recommend the foreign language version with the subtitles.
Exactly. So.
Would you say? Yes. So, remember, it's called All of Us Are Dead, and it's 2022. Yes, I can't think of anything else to say on this one. Apart from enjoy.
Yeah, I did. there were some things I didn't like about it, but I did enjoy I did like the chemistry between characters, some characters.
Yeah, well, that's what I think they focused. That's why they dragged it out, because they built those backstories and stuff into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there was one girl who, I think in the opening scene, where her image was destroyed, and she was also bullied by some kids at school.
Yeah.
And she kind of
and they half stripped and tried to filmed her.
Yeah, they kind of stripped her and filmed her, and they were planning on uploading it on YouTube or whatever.
And whether it actually got out, we don't know, because that's when the thing happened.
Yeah, at this point, I think people would not be focused on her
and they wouldn't
nudity.
know who she was anyway.
No, not so much.
Doesn't
Not
look-
unless they looked at any
Tattoos or scars or...
No, I'm referring to any branding from her school uniform.
They ripped the top off.
Oh yeah, they did.
So her branding would have been on the ground somewhere, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, but she thought somebody might recognise my face. Yeah.
Yeah,
She was really upset.
When she got bitten, she became a half zombie,
And she became a bit
acted
mean
a
too,
little
yeah.
crazy in this.
Well, because she was going that way before she turned.
True.
She was getting bent and everything because she was upset and everything, the way she was being treated and bullied.
And when things were going to hell, I'm going to say,
Literally,
and when some of the kids were trying to get an active phone so they can phone the authorities in order to
she
get
broke
out
all
of there,
the phones.
she broke all those
All
phones,
phones you can
not
find.
even bothering to actually check whether or not whose phone is whom's on there. I mean, no doubt she was trying to find the footage on that phone and destroy it.
Yeah, but a lot of password protected, so you just break them all. Yeah. Why not?
True, and it would have been already uploaded onto
Possibly
YouTube.
they could have
or
diarised it. Would have been on in the internet.
Yeah,
already.
whenever I do these podcasts, I always schedule them for a particular time.
Sure.
And so if I'm not around, I would at least have the benefit that I've already uploaded it, and I don't need to do it every morning or afternoon.
We do these ahead of time, so she diarise it to upload at the appropriate time, which is great.
Yeah, so that even though I might be busy at the moment, I can at least then I've set aside the YouTube video for you guys to look at, and I could just continue with my latest film project I'm working on at the moment. At the moment, I'm working on my latest film project. I've already started filming and stuff.
But day 4, is it? Day 4? Tomorrow's day 5?
Yeah, day 4 in my film project. I'm really happy about it. I had...
What's it called again?
It's called Prom Queen. It's a slasher. It's really a mini series that I'm hoping to put on on Black Cat's Film Productions, guys. So if you've got, once it's completed, feel free to check it out, okay?
Yeah, a couple of months' time, maybe get through post-editing, and so,
Yes.
We will keep you informed.
We'll keep you updated, guys. So I won't tell you any more about that. So anyway, what's rate this series now, Mike?
Look, I don't like reading subtitles, but I think the subtitles, at least this one worked.
Yeah, I think they did.
That gives me a plus on this one a bit more. So honestly,
yeah, and I don't have a prayer for the American version, American dub
we're
one.
not voting on the Americanized, the English version.
I know.
Okay?
I'm just saying to you guys, if you guys go and get the dub one, I suggest don't.
You get the one with the subtitles. But anyway, what I'm going to say is 8.5.
Okay, I think I'm going to give this 8.5 too. I know it's. I mean, I just thought
Copying me.
if they kind of didn't stretch it so much, maybe we could have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, if they didn't pad that so much, I would have given them a slightly higher score. But yeah, might have got 9 or 9.5. But everything else was good though.
I agree. I did enjoy it, and I would have loved it if they did include a scene where they were scavenging for food.
Why can't we review a horror movie and say it's worth nothing? No, who's going to want to watch it anyway?
Not unless you're watching Velma, which is everyone's given that slap of disappointment.
I've never heard of it. That's good.
It's a Scooby-Doo adaptation of Scooby-Doo, and of course they're focusing on Velma, the brainy girl who wore a yellow sweater all the time. I mean, yellow or an orange sweater. And I think a lot of people have hands down said it was not really good.
It wasn't that good. Actually, yeah, I remember, did I tell you a couple of months ago I was going through some old Supernatural TV series and how the guys got dragged in to the Scooby-Doo cartoon?
Yeah, that was
funny.
Cool. I liked that one of the boys said that he always had a crush on Daphne.
Yeah, well, Daphne was cute.
I thought it was cute. And I liked it that how the boys look like just like characters on Scooby-Doo a little bit. If not too much animated, like Shaggy or just Shaggy and Scooby. The rest of the time they did look ordinary looking. I mean, but then again, they're supposed to be ordinary because considering Fred is very ordinary, Daphne is ordinary. I think Velma is a little ordinary, but it doesn't matter. I seem to prefer the original to the new version. I even told Mike here that the studios keep on making the live version of Fred a little bit more even dumber. I don't know.
Yeah, they tried to dumb him down a bit.
Because he's blonde.
In the cartoon, the animated series, I mean, they tried to make him a smart leader. Mm-hmm. But Velma was a smart one. Yeah,
but even in the animation, he was a smart one.
I think Scooby-Doo was smarter than Fred sometimes.
I've seen the animated version, and he comes off very smart, but they always try to go by society's ways of believing that blondes are not smart people, which I imagine is a load of crap when I think about it. I don't believe...
You're not a blonde, what's your problem?
I know, I'm just meaning that's just a stupid way of thinking, that people think that looks matter about a person's thinking.
Sarah, can we get on with this now?
Sure.
I say about Scooby-Doo and blondes, okay?
I just think that people think that they just think that a lot, and it's kind of boring how they just try to discriminate people that way. Anyway, moving on, guys. So this series, I think it's pretty cool. I just wish it didn't go on too long, like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, they could have shortened.
If they made it 25 minutes, I would watch.
Well, no, half an hour to 40 minutes could have been better. They could have saved that some of the padding, but the backstories and stuff. So they could have done it that way, or
but
whatever.
They didn't. Anyway, the story was not too bad, and I thought it was pretty cool how they did the zombies and the backstory about how the zombies happened.
Bad. Yeah. Makeup wasn't bad.
Makes me think of the Korean, from House of the Dead, where it deals with zombies and a mad scientist who decides to use this sort of thing in order to extend life, if not extend life, try to help life. But unfortunately, the whatever he used must have become a very bad thing in the end.
Somewhat, always does. All these good guys trying to do something always make a mistake and it becomes a big problem.
Well, when they cut corners or play God, like the scientist guy, he was playing God by
trying to help his son. Didn't quite work, did it?
Nope. No. So anyway, that's about it for us tonight. So where can you find this, Mike? I think it's on Netflix.
Well, I've already said that. Mm-hmm. No, it was on Netflix. Whether it's still on there, I don't know how long things stay on Netflix for.
Yeah,
does it stay on forever?
Don't know.
It was released 12 months ago. It may still be on Netflix. There might be some other streaming areas you might find it. However, like I said before, eBay, you can buy them. Reasonably priced too. Amazon has very little for sale and a bit more pricier than the eBay. You can't rent it through Amazon, so you might find another platform you might be able to get it on. But yeah, go for the Korean version with the English subtitles.
Right.
Better. Okay, that's about all I can say.
Mm-hmm. So that's about it, guys. So be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you think of this series, okay? So that's about it for us. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
Yeah, and Michael.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls. Bye for now.
Bye.